Yeah, Sway Mick here. Be alright if you switched all this on, wouldn't it? I've just been talking at length about my new drive, spare new drive from the Greenfield, and I didn't have my little camera switched on my iPhone. Anyhow, it's life. So here's my brand new drive. I've got Steve at Mountain Mowers to build up for us. All brand new, the whole drive. So this is supplied obviously to them through this mob, GA, which supply a lot of stuff through mowers here in Australia. Part number GT401A. I don't know if there's a left and a right here. GT401A, so they're no different. The left is the same, exactly the same as the right. So this is the left hand side of the machine here. You've got a keyway in here on the shaft, and your little sprocket goes in there, and down to your wheel. There's some bigger tyres I've got there, got off Cole, actually gave us them. People pulled them off their mower, they collared to pull them off and they didn't want them and buy more grippy ones, so just so you can have them, so that's great. But there's your whole new complete drive system there. Complete drive system on a Greenfield for under $1,000, well under $1,000, about 900 I think it was, it might have been a bit over 9. All brand new. Its bearings fit on here, and they're on a holder which you just pull off the old one when I swap it out. But look, I just thought, bugger it, I'll do this and get this while I can. But they're remaking these Greenfields again, so all this is all identical, so that's great. Mine doesn't have the electric clutch. Mine just has the it's just on a what do you call it? It's on a spring loaded, and the spring puts the weight on the idler pulley when it takes up the weight with the spring, and that's the adjustment you get. But this drive system here, it actually doesn't come simpler than that. And I reckon Greenfield are actually missing out on a pretty big what would you say, market, because you could have a zero-turn mower with one of these drive systems on each side. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. The left would operate the left, and the right would operate the right. You just have that. That could be a zero-turn, or what I would more likely do is I would be more likely to make one of these drive systems and have it from here, have it half the size again, bigger shaft, and just put it on a bigger mower, like put it on a 30 horsepower conventional mower. They have a disc brake on the shaft on the mower, so you got a good disc brake for braking down hills, but this here you use as a brake anyhow. But this whole system, if you look at this whole system, it is as simple as simple as simple. And it lasts. The one I got on my mower has got 600 hours on minimum. It's been serviced once, which was $100. BUR small engine serviced it for me before I started using mountain mowers. I tried to use both, but for simple reason, when I was doing my mowing, half an hour or 20 minutes drive down to BUR, drop something off, come back, 20 minutes drive down, pick it up. It's just time, and you just can't afford that time in the mowing season. I always had this Greenfield as a backup. I started out with the Greenfield, and I just needed a bigger mower. I was doing, like, the biggest mowing I was doing was 2.5 acres and 32-inch deck. The mower could do it, no worries at all, but it was just physically too small a deck. So you really need a 50-inch deck on a Greenfield. They just have multiple blades, electric clutch like they have, but they're a very heavily made mower, so I just don't know why they wouldn't build a bigger conventional mower, because there's still plenty of big conventional mowers running around, your John Deeres and Husqvarnas and all that sort of stuff. But this actual drive mechanism built in what would you say? You were built it in proportion So if you build it half as big again, you know, Greenfield run up to 30 horsepower. 30 horsepower, I think, was their anniversary ones. They had a 30 horsepower Briggs, the Donaldson type air filter and everything on it. I think that was for their 30th anniversary. And it was Briggs and Stratton power. It might have been 30 years or 40 years they've been using Briggs's or whatever, I can't remember, but it was a, you see the odd one of them still for sale, brilliant mower. But no, I really like this system, and just, you know, hydro is definitely great, but hydro is a lot more expensive, and that's what you got to look at. I would actually like to make a bigger mower, physically just a bigger version of the Greenfield, and put a multiple blade deck under it, 3-blader, like on your Hustler, and just have this drive system. But you know, even maybe twice the size. There's nothing stopping you, because you just make the machine physically bigger, even up to the size of those big John Deere 795s or whatever they are. You know, there's nothing stopping you from making that, having a roll bar and everything on it, just like on the Hustler, but just simplicity. But look, I'm going to leave it at that. Here's a bit of other stuff I got from Cole today. Tubes to put it in the Greenfield, because what I'm actually doing, the rolling diameter of the tyres are too small, and I can't get the height. So I've just had to put a new set of tubes, and he's given us those and a set of front tyres, all second hand, and I'll see how it goes, because I just cannot get the deck high enough off the ground with the lower profile tyres that I got on it. But look, I'm going to leave it at that. Swano Mick from Swano Mick, up in Maloney today, and beautiful day. Just doing a bit of maintenance, and we've got the backyards all getting landscaped and everything here, and new fence and new retaining walls up, and new palings are going around the fence, and the house is getting ready to be sold. So it'll probably go on the market, I'd say, within the next month or so. But my brother and sister-in-law are selling it. So a beautiful spot. It's a bit out of my price range. Not a bit, actually. Matter of fact, it's a long way out of Carl's in my price range. About probably $800,000 out of my price range. But look, I'm going to leave it at that. And the rate's too dear too. I'm going to leave it at that. Swano Mick from Not Swenson Mowing anymore, from Swano Mick in retirement. I just thought you might be interested to see this brand new system as it sits in under $1,000, and to do the equivalent, even if you do up a second-hand drive in the Hustler or any of the hydros, say in your Hydra gear, which is what it's got. It's got a ZT 2800 in it on both sides, fully serviceable, but you're looking at over $1,200 a side just to recondition the old ones, and I'm not sure of the price of the new ones, a bloody lot dearer. So yeah, it's all about cost, and you won't get much more efficient cost than running one of these setups of a Greenfield setup. Like, it is that efficient and that bulletproof. It's going to leave it at that. I can't waffle on more about them. But yeah, I'd like to actually just cast up bigger ones and put them in a bigger machine. So I'm going to leave it at that. Swano Mick, that might be a good job for me for retirement. Swano Mick out. Have a lovely day. It's beautiful weather up here. About mid-20s. Swano Mick out.